scoreboard is counting down to the midterms, and score one for the establishment. In yesterday's primaries in Indiana, Ohio, and North Carolina, all the establishment favors carried the day, whether they were Republican or Democrat, through a close margin. In Indiana, for example, former Senator Dan Coates won the Republican nomination with just 39% of the vote. He had only a plurality because his four Tea Party opponents split all the rest of the vote. So can anti-establishment candidates buck the trend and bring change to Washington in November? We asked Kentucky Senate candidate Dr. Rand Paul, joining us now from Bowling Green. Oh, you do look like your dad, Doctor.
Good to be with you.
Good to have you with us. So what happened? Why is it that the Tea Party candidates, the ones for real change, failed?
Well, I think in Indiana the case was more of running against an incumbent, which is hard to do. You know, 96% of incumbents win. I know Dan Coates wasn't technically an incumbent, but I think he was more like an incumbent. My race, I think, will be more the true test of the Tea Party. We have an open seat. I've been to over 100 Tea Parties. I've been to 9/12 rallies. I've taken the 9/12 pledge. I'm intimately involved in the Tea Party movement, and when we win, it's going to send a big signal to Washington. You know, term limits is a popular thing. We just can't understand why we keep electing people and we never get them.
I agree 100%. By the way, have you agreed if elected you'll term limit yourself?
What we've done is haven't signed the voluntary one because even U.S. term limits isn't asking for that anymore. But I've told people I can't conceive of being in that hornet's nest for more than 12 years. I will try my best to change things in 12 years, and I just can't see staying longer than that. I really think that term limits has to come, but it will only come when we get a presidential candidate. So not only do we need to win this Senate race, the Tea Party needs to get somebody who runs for president on the Republican ticket who will be for term limits.
Now, what about the Republican establishment? Have they posted somebody against you, or are they in favor of you? I know you have the endorsement of Jim DeMint.
Yeah, Jim DeMint, I think, more represents the Tea Party wing of the party. He promotes term limits. He also promotes a balanced budget. He promotes an ending to earmarks. All of the things that the Tea Party embraces. The Tea Party's unhappy about pork barrel spending or bringing home the bacon with Republicans and Democrats. We see the deficit as a problem that really there's bipartisan blame to go around with.
Oh, yeah,
I think Senator
absolutely.
DeMint agrees with that.
Yeah, well, you look at the earmarks for Senator Shelby, for example, or other Republicans who just are as big at the trough as any of the Democrats. But Senator DeMint did endorse one of the Tea Party candidates that was running against Dan Coates. So his endorsement didn't win that race.
It won't win this race either. I have great respect for Senator DeMint, but I'm not going to blame him or anybody else who's endorsed me. This is my race to win or lose. It is intimately involved with the Tea Party, but I've been giving speeches for over a year now. I've been to every corner of the state. I've probably given 500 speeches. I'll give 10 speeches tomorrow. So it's really my race to win or lose. I'm part of the Tea Party, but it's not anyone's fault if we don't win or lose in this race. But I think we're going to win, and I think it will be the biggest Tea Party victory in the country.
What about Mitch McConnell? Mitch McConnell did endorse Dan Coates, and he also has endorsed other sort of more traditional party candidates, even Governor Christ up until the time Chris left the party.
Yeah, and I think the Republican Party, I always say, you know, Jefferson said we have to renew the defense of liberty every generation. I think every generation has to redefine what the party believes in. I say the Republican Party is an empty vessel unless we imbue it with values. I think the Tea Party wants to bring the GOP back to its roots, back to believing in something. You know, we don't believe in bailing out private businesses as Republican, much less owning them. But many Republicans did vote for the bank bailout. Those Republicans are the establishment. Those are the Republicans opposed to me. But the secret weapon we have is 90% of primary voters in Kentucky would have voted no on the bank bailout.
Interesting.
So these people, part of the establishment, they're running against a wave of Republican primary sentiment.
Dr. Rand Paul, good to see you, Dr. Paul. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.